welcome to a very special episode of the Electric Scooter Podcast, episode 35. We are going to interview a person who is in a very niche field that he created. We're talking musician, foodie, and scooterhead from the beautiful state of Hawaii, Izah B. Izah B scoots around the island of Oahu on his Apollo Ghost and takes us to very interesting places to eat and even teaches us about food, Hawaiian culture, and his passion for reggae music. His YouTube channel is called AROMA SURF. Aroma as in smell. And you'll love the music. Which, by the way, is all original. So from AROMA SURF, Izah B! In episode 35, we're going to talk about a couple brands, Boosted Rev, of all things, Apollo, and of course, we're going to talk about Hawaiian food, reggae music, ska, as well as a bunch of other interesting topics. So stick around.
Uamau, ke ea o ka aina I ka pono. Uamau, ke ea o ka aina I ka pono. Uamau, ke ea o ka aina I ka pono. Uamau.
He rides a ghost, mix avocado toast. In Hawaii, he's your host, Izah B.
Izah B.
Yeah, man.
On ESP. Izah B. On ESP.
You talking food? You got it. Talking scooters? Got it. Hawaii? Garen's Ball Barons. Take a vacation from your own couch. Visit Hawaii. Have some delicious food and maybe make some of your own.
Shoots. Bring the scoots.
Izah B. On ESP. Izah B. On ESP. Izah B.
B.
Okay, welcome. It's Izah, but I've heard you say Izah B. What is the B?
The B is for blue.
Izah Blue. Oh, awesome. I like that.
Yeah.
Izah. So I want to start out by welcoming you to the Electric Scooter Podcast, and I want to tell you that I am a genuine fan. I think you deserve a lot more views, and a lot of people ought to be watching you, and I'll tell you why. And I'm sorry, I do talk a lot. This is one of those podcasts to where the host, I do talk a little too much.
No worries.
But you have got a winning combination. In my book, it's first scooters, okay? You got me already. But food, if you've listened to any of my other episodes, sometimes people are like, why do you keep bringing it around to food? You're a guy that I can actually talk scooters and food to, so that is extremely rare. And the third thing that totally makes you a winner, even if viewers aren't into scooters or food, you got Hawaii. You've got scooters plus food plus Hawaii equals win. So I just think you're the bomb. I love what you do. In the beginning, when you were doing more food videos of how to cook things, like you did the fish tacos, the 9-spice potato balls, rice and cheese stuffed squid, all that kind of stuff. And my wife and I would watch those because you're really talented. I mean, your camera angles, the voiceover, the type of food. Again, remember, we are folks that lived many, many, many years in Hawaii. Hawaii's my home. We live on the 9th island now, which is Las Vegas. But of course, we miss home, and we watch your videos, and we watch you scooting to Uanu or wherever you happen to be down there at the Natatorium and down there in Waikiki and different areas. It just makes us think of home. So I want to tell you that people do contact me and they say they'd like me to interview them, but I reached out to you specifically because I think your channel's the bomb. I think the way you manage it, the way you run it, you have an interesting voice. It's good. I think good for a podcast. Also, it's got the slight gravelly tone to it, and your mannerisms are interesting. And you toss in the little bit of Jawaiian, every once in a while, and it's just interesting and it's good. And I like what you do, and I think we have a lot in common. So I wanted to start off by saying that.
Oh man, thank you so much. I appreciate it so much. Yeah, big mahalos to you. I mean, I'm just super stoked that you reached out to me. When we started the channel, you were talking about the recipes. There was the wifey and I, who's always been a team player with the AROMA SURF. She has the steady hand for let's say, fixed cameras for free floating. She just has a naturally smooth hand. So she definitely is really keen with that, and she has a natural sense. We kind of got different equipment and just started playing around and trying to figure out different angles, and trying to do top angles and side angles and just try to, get to the elements of the up close cooking. And then
and she usually rides behind you, right? When you're out front, that's her filming.
Yes, yeah. So she's on a second scooter that's behind me, and yeah, exactly. And she keeps the pace quite tight, actually. She's very impressive rider.
She's good, and every once in a while you'll tell her, "Hey, pass me," and then you're looking just at scenery. And you ride the Apollo Ghost, of course. And,
yes.
And what is she riding again? Can you refresh my memory?
She's on the Boosted Rev.
Oh, the Boosted Rev. Yeah. Oh, they went out of business. That's right.
They did, which I would think that somebody would snap that line up, because I thought they came out so powerful. I thought, especially with their skateboards as well.
They had a big reputation for electric skateboards. I do have an electric skateboard also, but it's a Backfire Ranger. It's an off-road skateboard. But Boosted Rev, you're right. Their reputation was kind of the BMW of skateboards.
Yeah, I mean, my boy has two of them to this day, and I mean, he crushes it on those boards, and they've never let him down. And I'm not going to lie, I've put in 3,000 miles on my Boosted Rev.
Wow.
And I mean, knock on electric scooters, it still has never let me down, man.
Yeah, when they came out with the electric scooter, I thought, man, this is the beginning of something big, because their focus was different as a company. I believe they were out of New York City, and they didn't go into like a whole bunch of features and fancy suspensions and that kind of thing. They put it more into just a solid, sporty, kind of high quality materials. And I thought that was a winner, but it wasn't long after they put out the scooter that they folded.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I never followed up to find out, was it scooter the final straw? Is that what, did scooters kill Boosted Rev? I don't know.
They certainly shouldn't have. I mean, I figure that the scooter sales must have blown up just like their skateboards did. I mean, that thing is actually, in my opinion, I mean, I'm not an engineer or manufacturer, but when you look at the simplicity, but just like the components they used, it's really well put together.
That's why their following was very loyal. And that's probably gets the comparison to BMW, is because yeah, people who ride them and owned them just really, really loved them. And you're right. Why didn't some company just buy the name and, keep producing them, keep the factories open and keep going? I don't know. But you settled on Apollo. So you have Apollo, and they're a distributor out of Canada, and they're doing some groundbreaking things. Like, they take the feedback from their customers and they go straight, it's still Chinese made, but they go straight to the Chinese factory and say, listen, this is how we want you to make this, or these are the features we want you to use, and these are the features we don't want you. I do own one Apollo. I have an Apollo Explorer, and I love it. I rode the Phantom, and I gave a review on that. I didn't like the Phantom. I don't think the Phantom is ready for prime time. That's just my personal opinion. But so tell us about the Ghost a little bit.
Well, you did kind of mention to me a little bit when we talked before about like the kind of torquiness of like how the Phantom was like so torquey that it wasn't a comfortable ride. I haven't seen, because when they put out the Phantom, they put out their own headset as well and computer. That was one of the changes made. And the Ghost is actually using the generic computer that's used by several different brands, the finger trigger.
Mm-hmm. I think yours is a mini motor.
Yes, actually you're correct. It is a mini
motor.
And
I love that. I have that on a couple of my scooters.
And it's really customizable.
Yes.
Which, that's what makes it sweet, in my opinion.
You can change the torque band on it, and I do it all the time because
totally.
When I have buddies that are first-time scooter riders, I'm always trying to promote scooters. And when I meet people and when I have buddies that are like, look down on scooters, they're off-roaders, they're into motocross and stuff. They're like, little teeny wheels. I'm not going to like. But when they first get on the scooter, I'm going to take the torque and bring it down a couple notches and that kind of thing to make it a little more friendly, because I have some beast scooters that, frankly, if you were to max everything out, you'd hit the throttle and but the Phantom, and again, I don't want to knock it too hard because I caveat it with, it was one of the very first ones off the assembly line that I tried, and it had first just like a dead spot, and then it kicked in really hard and fast. It didn't have a linear power band, I would say.
Yeah, and I mean, that could be partially due to the fact that, they might still be developing their computer and their settings.
Yes. I love what they're doing, though. I'm not knocking them because I love them as a company, and I hear good things about their customer service, and I do like their other scooters. That one didn't happen to be for me. So tell me a little bit about your Apollo Ghost. Have you had dealings with a distributor? Have you made any modifications?
I mean, I have had definitely dealings with them. One thing that I think is really cool about their team is they all are young, enthusiastic guys.
Yeah.
And they're totally into scooters.
Yep.
And that's why they created that company. And so they're wholehearted. I deal with one of the guys. His name is Maxwell.
Yeah, give him a shout out.
Yeah, big ups Maxwell every time. Yeah, we kind of created a relationship through initially emails, and then we spoke on the phone. I mean, certain things come up. I do ride my Ghost really hard, I'm not going to lie.
Good for you.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they're made to do.
That's right.
Yeah, I am a little jealous. You told me about the bikes you got, and I definitely want to sample those. Out here in the islands, we don't have much to sample unless you buy them, you know what I mean? So it's...
So you have to buy it online and then have it sent to Hawaii?
Exactly.
Is there not a scooter shop anywhere on any of the islands?
Well, there are bike shops.
There's a lot of bike shops, I remember.
Yeah, and so the bike shops are some of the few guys that are also distributing the scooters. Because they have their e-bikes and their e-mountain bikes especially. That's really popular out here. We have a lot of high caliber e-mountain bike trails all over this island. And I gotta say, those guys are hardcore. I mean, enough respect. I mean, they don't mess around. They're on serious bikes and they're doing serious trails, advanced level stuff,
Oh, there's a lot of great trails in Hawaii.
Yeah, totally. So, interesting, I ordered an e-mini bike.
Okay.
I don't know if I told you that, but
No.
I ordered an aerial rider Grizzly. Just to check them out. I'm into all e-vehicles, and I figured I'd add another one to the quiver.
Yeah, I have an e-bike, but the feeling of standing up at speed. I tell people, sit in a car and go 30 miles an hour. It's like nothing, even with the windows rolled down or even a convertible. Now go that same 35 30 to 35 miles an hour and stand on the hood and see how that feels. Something about standing up when you're going at speed just feels good. Like you, I'm a surfer and I'm a motorcycle rider. So, I moved to Hawaii. Moved from Hawaii to Las Vegas. So I obviously can't surf anymore. I had to find something to replace that adrenaline jolt. Yeah. And scooters happened to be the thing I landed on, and it's a passion. It's great. So the e-bike doesn't do it it's convenient and good, and I'm a proponent. But when I'm looking at, I want to do something fun, what am I going to use? Man, I go for the scooter every time.
Well, yeah. And the whole semi-knobby tire options is really awesome for trails, because I've been running slicks so far, but I want to get some trail, semi-knobbies or whatever. Again, I guess maybe I could order them through a different brand.
Yeah, there are some companies that do, I forget what they call them, hybrid is what they call them, hybrid tires. So they're not strictly street and they're not strictly off-road. I have 2 Wolf Warriors. I have 2 scooters, one with knobby and one with street. That's the way I did it. But you can get, I think you probably have 10-inch tires on that Apollo Go. So
exactly.
I think you can get what they call hybrid tires. And
okay,
tires is one topic we just talk about so much on this podcast. There's a company, Segway, that I don't know why everybody doesn't do this, because there's a bunch of types of tires. You have honeycomb, you have the solid tires, you have the pneumatic tires, which are 2 types. They have an inner tube or they're tubeless. And what you want is pneumatic, number 1, and tubeless, number 2. But Segway, they do something with their tires at the factory. They put this thick goop inside that is not the same as buying the goop, buying Armadillo or one of the other companies, Slime, and fix. It's not the same. It's thicker and it's more solid. And folks regularly get 4,000 miles on those tires, and they as long as you don't pierce it from the side. If you pierce it from the side, you're done no matter what you're riding.
Wow.
But if you run over glass, needles, all kinds of stuff. I talked to Ginger on Wheels last week. He poked a needle. He pokes needles into them to test them. And those Segway tires are the bomb. They're the only ones I know of that do that. And some entrepreneur needs to make $1 bazillion by selling those, so that they'll fit other scooters. I can't imagine that Segway has a patent on them or anything.
Right? Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, because I was surprised. I burned up my slicks in 450 miles.
Wow.
And that's just running strictly streets.
Wow, that is not good. That's bad. You can't change your tires every 400 miles, and they're a hassle to change. And like you said, I don't know if can you take them in Hawaii to the bike shop? Will they change them for you?
I haven't tried to. My guess is that they would, especially because they want to expand business whenever they can. I've changed all my tires so far myself, but I only had the initial tires that came with the Ghost, and they're definitely shot. I'm actually starting to slip all over the place.
Oh wow! And so, you need to get those changed if you're starting to slip. That could be dangerous.
Yeah, exactly.
We got AROMA SURF in the house, and his grinds are ono. In Hawaii, that means his food is delicious, and he's a scooterhead.
Fish tacos, tater balls, pumpkin cheesecake.
Talking to us from the most beautiful place on planet Earth. Izah B! Tell us a little bit about your background and where you grew up and where you're from, how you ended up in Hawaii, and if you want to mention any kind of business that you have that if we can do anything to encourage people to use your website so you can make some money, or just hit you up on your channel or whatever, could you just give us a little spiel about your background and that kind of thing, what you're doing now?
Well, I'm originally a California kid. Grew up and graduated school in San Diego. This is in the early 80s. I graduated in 82. I was already a mod boy prior to that, running Vespa and Lambretta scooters. Yeah, I was in scooter groups. I was a ska boy, kind of a ska mod out of Cali, and then kind of just kind of started getting into Bob, of course, and the next thing I was kind of a Rasta mod, and I was flying the Ethiopian flag instead of the Union Jack.
So you went ska and then reggae. I did the reverse. I was reggae when I was really young, and started listening to ska, Bad Manners, and the specials,
English beat,
yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I went from a ska boy because it was like mod ska. I don't know if you remember the Untouchables from LA.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so they were friends of mine, and
oh wow.
We would go up in just like motorcycle gangs. We were going up in scooter packs, with like 50 to 100 bikes on the I-5.
Whoa, just like in England.
Totally.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh, I love that stuff. I interviewed Paul Somerville from the Electric Scooter Guide, and he had a band from the Bay Area called The Conspiracy. And yeah, he gave me the rights to all their music, so every once in a while, maybe on this episode, I'll throw in some ska. And
oh, awesome.
He played saxophone and sang on a lot of the songs. Yeah, everything's part of a conspiracy. That's The Conspiracy featuring Paul Somerville of the Electric Scooter Guide. I only bring it in because it's ska music, and that's how Izah B got started. So check out The Conspiracy. They're a good band from the Bay Area, 92 to 98. But I'm telling you, Roots, Natty Roots, Izah B's reggae band in Hawaii. They're not good. They're amazing. I am a person who knows his reggae. And I'm telling you, Roots, Natty Roots is a fantastic band. There's not a lot of YouTube videos of the band playing. There's one live at Mark the Sharks, and Izah B is playing a melodica, which reminded me of Augustus Pablo, who I love. God rest his soul. He died at the age of 46. Augustus Pablo. Melodica, it's like you blow into it, yet it's a keyboard. And just a reminder, the Electric Scooter Podcast is about the scooter lifestyle. If you want details and the specifications on specific scooters, go to the Electric Scooter Guide. And be sure to watch Ginger on Wheels, Jimmy Chang, all the other people that I mentioned, Alien Rides. But let's continue our conversation with Izah B. And let's not forget his band, Roots, Natty Roots. Give them support. Download their music. Buy some of it. Listen to it. I guarantee you, if you are a reggae fan, you will love it. This is a reggae band in the traditional sense. I don't have any of his music at my disposal right now that I can put into this podcast. I will later or in future podcasts. Back to the conversation. So from San Diego, how did you land in Hawaii? Both. That's another thing we have in common is I was flown, not grown. How did you end up there?
Well, so like in '87, when I was in San Diego, I moved down to Jamaica.
Whoa.
And yeah, I lived in Portland on the east side of Jamaica.
Jamaica,
And,
man.
yes. You know, in search of the more musical vibes and the whole Rasta culture and everything, you know, just young little dready. And then when I left Jamaica in '88, I came back to San Diego, and I was just like, man, I need the island food, I need the island vibes, and at the same time, I had read that, you know, reggae music was just starting to blow up in Hawaii, so myself and my fellow band members, we moved over to Big Island.
Oh, so you were in a band?
Yeah.
Did you
we
sing?
Yeah.
You know, I can totally hear that in your voice. When you talk, you sound like someone who would have an awesome singing voice.
Yeah, no, I have 4 different albums.
Wow. Promote them right now if you'd like to.
Yeah, well, for sure. Izah B is my solo album that I put out in 2017. 14 tracks that I actually wrote with my reggae band I built in Japan, in Kansai Reggae Band, actually.
Wow. Yeah, the Kansai plane. Is that the background music? Because I was specifically gonna ask you about that because I'm not a giant fan of what they call Jawaiian, but the music you play on your channel, I love.
Oh, right on.
Hawaii
Yeah.
nice, Hawaii nice, Hawaii. God, I get that stuck in my head all the time. I love that.
Yeah, so that was with my reggae band that we formed on Oahu back in 1992.
Wow. You know, my wife and I were discussing that. We didn't think for a second it was you, but she's like, that stuff's good. What do you think? And I said, he's probably got friends that are in a band or something. I didn't think for a second that it didn't occur to me that that's actually you.
So yeah, that band's name is Roots, Natty Roots.
Roots, Natty Roots. Wow.
So I feature tracks from our 2 CDs that we produced here on Oahu from that band, and then the instrumentals are from the solo album, the Izah B album.
Wow. And is there a place that scooterheads and listeners can buy that?
It's everywhere, you know, all the major outlets, iTunes,
Amazon.
Spotify, Deezer, Amazon for sure.
Oh, good. Good.
Apple.
Promote it one more time. Give me the name of the band and the name of the records, the name of the albums.
Okay, so the solo album is Izah B, and the name of the album is called World Needs.
World Needs.
And then Roots, Natty Roots. Okay. And we have 2 albums, one self-titled Roots, Natty Roots, and the other is called Livin' in Harmony, which you might have remembered.
Living
that
in
song.
Harmony, of course.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So that's the title track for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. So, Scooterheads, I'm telling you, if you watch Izah B's channel and you like what you hear, download it. You know, give the guy a little bit of money, pay for his music and download it and put it out there and spread it around. Because not a lot of island, specifically Hawaiian music, is real popular on the mainland.
Right. That's true.
But your stuff is good. Like you, I kind of grew up on the reggae, and you know, I love Burning Spear.
Oh yeah.
I love Black Uhuru, and my main band. I don't know if you'll agree with this. Who, as far as you know, Marley is like a saint or whatever. He's like the big overarching guy, right? But as far as just music, Steel Pulse. That's my band. So Jawaiian music started out kind of like ukulele kind of stuff, you know, and it sounded to me like it didn't have that cutting, like, you know, Steel Pulse. They're going to be playing through like a Fender Twin reverb, you know, like a Telecaster through a Fender Twin reverb. So you got the treble all the way up and it just cuts. So when I heard the ukulele, I was like, you know, I love the Hawaiian music, Gabi Pahinui. I love all the traditional Hawaiian music, but in a reggae setting, I wasn't a fan. But I like your music, brother. I'm telling you, it's good.
Well, yeah, we never tried to really incorporate the Jawaiian sound, even though at the same time that we were on the island, Jawaiian was growing and booming. But what was cool is we would play a lot of events together. you know. But as far as the foundation of reggae, we never incorporated the ukulele sound, because like you said, I mean, it gives a nice island ching to it, but it definitely softens that cutting edge of like roots reggae, which is kind of the sound we always tried to represent. We threw in the Hawaii Nice and the Live in Harmony. That was our flavor for the Hawaii people, you know?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
No, and I don't dislike all Hawaiian. There's, a lot of people that I do like, and some Hawaiian bands would cut like one or two reggae songs on a couple of their albums. So I'm not dissing the whole genre. I was more used to listening to the pure reggae from Jamaica.
Yeah, for sure. Now I would say that the evolution of the local reggae bands has definitely really matured to where we've got some really just straight up hard driving local roots bands. Yeah,
that's good to hear.
It's come a long way, I would say, for sure.
Uamau, ke ea o ka aina I ka pono. Uamau, ke ea o ka aina I ka pono. Uamau, ke ea o ka aina I ka pono. Uamau.
He rides a ghost, mix avocado toast. In Hawaii, he's your host. Izah B.
Izah B.
Yeah, man.
On ESP. Izah B.
Izah B.
On ESP.
I gotta apologize for the horrible original music. It does not do your music justice. You rock your glass noodles off, bro. You're killing it over there in Hawaii. Check out his YouTube channel, AROMA SURF. I feel like I didn't say AROMA SURF enough times in this episode. AROMA SURF.
Shoots. Bring the scoots.
Check out his music. Download it. It's awesome. He's killing it. Keep it up, bro.
On ESP. Izah B. B.
The man who created his own genre, scooters, reggae music, food, and beautiful location. There is really nobody comparable that can provide that for you. The closest I can come are two examples. I can think of the Electric Scooter Guide has a show called Scooter Hunters, to where they have a person who has a specific use case for a scooter, whether it's to commute, to travel long distance, off-road, whatever it is. And they bring that people onto the episode and introduce them to a number of scooters, and they choose a scooter. So it's kind of a reality show. In addition to Scooter Hunters, there's a guy in Los Angeles, Yogi Steve, who has a show that's kind of a misnomer, Electric Scooter Academy, but it doesn't teach you how to ride scooters, but it is a reality show. He delivers food throughout the Los Angeles area, Uber Eats and whatever other delivery services are out there. And you can follow his exploits as he winds his way on a Dualtron throughout the streets of Los Angeles. He lets you know how much money he makes. He encounters dogs. He encounters stairways. Sometimes he has to lock it up. He has to calculate, how far do I have to go to make it worth it? How much money am I going to make on each of these trips? And it's pretty fascinating. I'd love to interview Yogi Steve someday from Electric Scooter Academy. So those are really the only examples I can give you that even come close to what Izah B is doing. So if you enjoyed this episode and you want to hear more from Izah B, stay tuned next episode. I have tentatively planned a look at U.S. media because I did a previous episode that was well received on UK media's perception of scooters. And what about the United States? So maybe I'll take a look at that and finish up with Izah B, where we will talk about, guess what? Food, the things he likes and dislikes about the Apollo Ghost, hydraulic brakes, and scooting in awesome weather, because where has he lived? Jamaica, San Diego, and Hawaii. So, scooter heads, stay tuned for episode 36 next Wednesday. Aloha. Keep the shiny side up and the dirty side down.